Perspective is a really interesting word. Sometimes when you've got your head down and you're focusing on the detail of the job that you're involved with, then it's great because you can really see, you're looking closely, you're looking at the detail, and everything is focused on what you're trying to achieve. But now and again it's really good to lift your gaze, or to just look up, look around, get a different view, get a different perspective on the situation. And the film that we're about to show you is exactly that. We are very fortunate to have a friend, Andy, who has come along with his drone and has gone around the farm and taken shots from a perspective that we don't usually see when we're down on the ground. So it's really nice to be able to just get up above the trees, above the bushes, and see things from a slightly different angle. So I hope that you enjoy this. Well, here we go on an adventure from a drone. So that was the entrance, and now going round to the donkey barn where we've got all our hay stored. You'll probably recognise a few things from some of the recent videos if you've been keeping up with them. There's the new greenhouse. You can just see the blue tinted roof there, which keeps the temperature a little bit cooler. Can't wait to start using that. And as we go down the side, there's the goat enclosure for the mums. That's Arisha getting a bit scared of the drone and running away. This is early on a Saturday morning when there's not many people around, but there's Liz doing the rounds, helping out with the feeding and the mucking out on Saturdays. Over the roses. And then as we start to rise, you can see that road. We don't see that road very much really, because the bund, we've got a bund and then there's the council bund on the side. You can see there's not much traffic on it. And then a nice view over the whole farm, over the polytunnels, and then the buildings with the alpacas in the distance. It's interesting looking at these gardens in the foreground. They've already changed just in the last couple of weeks. We've got a new bed put in there. It's amazing how things don't stand still for very long at Pathways. We're slowly working our way through the wood chip pile, but it's a much slower process now that we don't have many farm workers each day. Very tranquil scene. Nice morning sunshine. Everything peaceful. There's a couple of people going about their business with feeding and watering and clearing up after the animals. That's Polly 2, you can see all the veg growing in there. Over the golden Guernseys thing, and then there's the pygmy goats, obviously also getting a bit nervous about the drone flying over. Now we've moved down to the bottom end of the top field, or the middle field, the lower field, past the donkey paddock. You can just see Flora in the mid-ground there. And now over to the reservoir. Now this is a view that we really don't get. We always look at it from eye level. So to look up above and see it, just birds flying around, see the ducks on it, it's quite a treat really. It gives you an idea of the scale as well, because it's a large area. I think it's at least an acre. And it is a large area. Look at that whole load of ducks flying along or swimming along there, and the swans in the foreground. There's a lot of that weed still there. We've had a little bit of rain. It needs a really good downpour really to disperse that, and then all the water becomes very clear. But I'm sure there's a lot of bugs and insects in there which the swans and the ducks and things really enjoy. This is a nice view looking down on them. You can see how clear the water is actually. It's very, very clear. I know it's not very deep, but you can see all the way down to the bottom. Not a bad life, is it? Just sort of swimming around, enjoying the cool of the water and grabbing some nutrients and bugs on the way. They do stick together well, the swans. Great parents, mum and dad swans. They don't let the little ones out of their sight till they're about 10 months old. Down there on the left, you can just see Andy and Phil operating the drone. Thank you, guys. We're moving our way over towards the path that goes to the bird hide and runs along the side of the stream. So where all the trees are on the left-hand side, they're rooted by the stream. That's why they're so green, got a lot of water supply. This little area, the grass is very short here because we've had the donkeys grazing on this bit. We move the donkeys around because they are very effective lawn mowers. And now going up the side of where we did have the alpacas, call that the alpaca field, even though at the moment, as I speak, the donkeys are in there as well. So I've got the reservoir on the right behind that fence, and then this path which runs up the side up to the top field. So now we're at the very top. We've got the top field with a hay field on the left hand side, and this is our viewing platform that overlooks the reservoir. Carrying along there to the top of the steps that lead down to the McDonald's path. This grass has been cut quite recently. John came along with a strimmer and did all that for us. So that's looking even a bit more neat now. As I said, things don't stand still for long. There's maintenance going on all the time at the farm. We've had a few branches and limbs of trees fall down on the McDonald's path, so we've done a bit of clearing there over the last few days as well. You can see this is sooty bank, so you can see all the black there, crumbling quite a lot. I guess we're going to have to do some maintenance on that at some point soon before it all just disintegrates. And then as you go down the steps onto the bottom path, and then along the path round towards the old ancient orchard. That roller that is there, that's never moved. That's been there all the time that we've had possession. I think it must have been dumped there a few years ago. So this is leading towards the ancient orchard, and it's got quite a lot of heavy overgrowth. But this is now going to be a view that we really don't ever see. All we see is the weeds and things growing up that fence. But as you raise up, you see the beauty of that reservoir behind. It's a great view, isn't it, really? Right the way across to Park Hill, and then our tractor barn in the distance. It's so nice to get a different perspective altogether on the farm. In the centre down there is the end of the McDonald's pathway. We've got another bench, and this is coming back down towards the orchard again, where we've cut a pathway through. If you've seen any of the other films, you would have heard me say that we've planted about 300 trees in this. It's going to be a nice copse, and there's a lot of wildlife in here. There's a lot of little butterflies, moths, insects. You get a lot of bird life. And then these trees are full of plums if you get them at the right time. They've just finished. They're absolutely delicious, very sweet plums, very old trees. Down over the stream again. And there's the alpacas. And now we're back to the front up near the gates. So we've got the sensory garden. And again, this is something that you notice when you're down there, you're on ground level and you're walking around and you're experiencing all the paths and the different textures. But to actually raise above it and see the shapes that are there and how the layout works and all that kind of thing is really interesting. So it's great for us because we've worked on every detail and looking at the minutiae. So to actually get that, raise your gaze and see the whole thing in a different light is very rewarding. And of course the house was finished about a year ago, so it's lovely to see that painted. That block of concrete in the foreground is soon going to be built on. We're going to have a lodge there. So there we have it, Pathways from the Sky.